everybody. Welcome back to the Green Pill Secret. I am Kat. With me, as always, is the terribly handsome and charming Jeffrey. Um, Today, we are talking about the dreaded enemy of horribleness, your inner critic. Ooh. You know those times when your brain just freaking hates you?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, those times. I don't know if you want to call it. They have all these names for it these days. Your imposter syndrome and
Hmm.
it's and basically your brain is a dick. You're
Right.
when you're or lizard brain or weed brain or insecurity bunnies or brain weasels or whatever the hell, your brain is a dick, and
Oh yeah.
it's when your brain hates you. And I mean, I don't know about you. I am
Oh, legit.
always my harshest critic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kat, let me be honest with you first. I consider you a really, really good friend. The inner critic in my head is always telling me that I'm not worthy of your friendship.
Oh,
That's what
stop
it's
it.
telling me. I know you, I know
Stop
it ain't true.
it.
It ain't true. It ain't true. I know it.
Stop it.
But I know because we are really good friends. And I know that would never be the case. It has
Well,
happened to me before, though. I mean, I did talk about it a bit in terms of, I forget what the episode name, but I will link to it in my description of the story. But when I was sort of like um, inner critic of, saying, hey, am I the fault? Is it my fault you don't want to meet with me if it's my fault? And it actually is the person just being polite and not mentioning that they were sick. And that did cost me a friendship. So the inner critic can actually have dangerous consequences.
yeah. I mean, you can tell your inner critic by the way that, prove that it's full of shit. I'm
Hmm.
here. If you're looking
Yes.
at me, then
Yes.
I'm here and I'm your friend and it's okay.
Hmm.
That's the other thing. I ain't got time to humor your inner critic because
No.
that's fire that gets fed,
Hmm.
enabling the inner critic.
Hmm.
I mean that's because we've all been this way. We've all been, reassure me, feed my,
Hmm.
when you're that
Hmm.
emotional vampire and it's feed me and oh, I suck. I'm terrible. Can you please make me feel better? And, like a little bit of that, we all need that sometimes. We all
Right.
need that sometimes. It's not a big deal, but I'm guilty of, years ago of just being that guy who was constantly, eh, eh, eh.
Hmm.
And finally, I've no more, no more. And I don't, and I try my best not to enable that in my loved ones either. It's, am I here? Do I like you? Then shut up, you know,
Right.
and, sometimes more on the side of tough love than others. But, depending on the friend, depending on the relationship. But, because you can't enable that if you, because you keep, the hole never stays full.
Right. I mean, I am able to silence my inner critic a lot, but it is there. When I go to cosplay with the fellow cosplayers, I know they're way better than me. Doesn't matter. I'm trying, and I'm doing my best. Don't hurt myself because I'm trying to do my best. If I do in writing and I have better writers with me, I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best, and that's all I should be valuing. Sure, I could have this imposter syndrome that I am like not the worthy writer with all these other writers, and how dare I consider myself the writer among them? No, I have my skill. It is not the skill of Stephen King. It's not even
Ned Fontaine or Martin Wilsey.
it is the skill of myself. It is just the skill that I have. And that's all I can hope for is to just be as good as I can be and let that inner critic go suck it.
Exactly. I'm constantly telling myself perfection offends the gods.
Hmm.
That sort of helps sometimes. It's a drag too, because like you asked me, did you watch blah 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 episode that we've done in the past? I'm like, no, because I
Right.
I hate watching
Hmm.
myself. But on the other hand, um, if I'm doing like if I'm rehearsing something or whatever, I kind of need to. I I I realized a little while ago that I have to get somebody to film whatever it is so that I can watch it, even though I may hate doing that because I need dailies. I have
Right,
to be able to give myself notes.
right, right, right.
Even though, that's what we theoretically, that's what we have a director for, but not always. And I want to
Hmm.
be able to make my own choices and I want to be able to, see what, ooh, and then I can watch it later and go, ooh, that's cringe. Let me fix
Right.
that. And
Well, yeah, if I watch my old videos, which I don't often do either, I will nitpick. I will
yeah,
say, "Oh, I should have." And it's too late, man. It's out there. Don't worry about it. And yes, don't worry about it. Doesn't mean I won't go back and maybe re-edit the first autumn, the first spring series to make it more of the the two camera versions that we are showing now, rather than this double camera thing that we had in the early days. But overall, I just accept what went out. We had this older name. We're not using that name anymore because we realized that we can do a better way. And you can improve, but improve for the sake of improvement. Don't improve to impress your inner critic. Your inner critic is tearing you down. Don't fall into the trap of always letting that inner critic dictate what you should do. Feel to step back, think about what could be changed, but don't just change for the sake of change. Don't just thrash around trying to find the perfect. As Kat just said, le parfait, c'est l'ennemi de le meilleur. As Voltaire once said, it's a great expression. Perfect is the enemy of good. Don't try to do that. Don't worry about your inner critic. Just be the best that you personally can be.
I mean, I sort of feel like the with your inner critic, it has she, it, whatever, has to be your bitch. You can't be his,
Hmm.
because it's a good tool if you can use it that way.
Right.
You know, if I can if I can have someone record a rehearsal and look at it objectively, I can learn from it
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can make my performance better. But and then I have made inner critic my bitch and used
Right.
I have used it as a tool. So that's good. That said, if it's something that I've done already that
Hmm.
is out there, and as you said, that's out there and done and finished, I can't let it keep me up all night going,
Yep.
oh God, why did I, why is it that way? Why is it
Hmm.
because that way lies madness.
Right.
That
I
way
can't
lies
go
madness.
back and change the novel that, or change the short story that I wrote. If it's published, it's published. Yeah, you could recall it, but still going to have the originals out there. You just accept it and move on.
Did you watch my cabaret, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I
well, you
loved
didn't
it.
mention that.
Oh, well, yeah, of
You
course. I love your stuff, my friend.
you never meant, I mean, like the whole show, the one that's all me.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I saw it, and it was really good what you had in there.
Shameless plug, I have a cabaret.
Yes, please watch Cat's Cabaret. Absolutely.
Called the Tough Made Lemonade, and it's amazing.
Yes,
Okay,
it is. Yes, it is. It is worth the time you
I
spend.
never do that. I never do that. What the
I
hell?
know, but it's okay. On this podcast, you're allowed.
Okay.
Because believe me, we also have some episodes where my friend, who's an author, is also going to be on the show talking a little bit about some of the trials and tribulations that she's had. And we are all about if you have something to promote. I mentioned the Science Book Club. I mentioned my cosplay. I
Yep.
mentioned my writing. Go ahead, feel free to promote it. It's okay because we're here to talk about a topic like that inner critic that is telling you you're not really an author, you don't really read science, you're not smart enough, and you're not a good cosplayer because you buy things on Amazon. Ignore that critic. No. You're doing your best. You're doing good. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I had nothing to add to that statement. So yeah,
Thanks all.
bye.